Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock, so let's get started. Please note that everyone is muted, so please use the chat to communicate. Also note that there will be a drawing at the end of the meeting. Register at www.gpbr.com/win by 9:30 to win a $50 gift card from Flagstar Bank, a $25 gift card from Guaranteed Rate, an Amazon $50 gift card from Grosse Pointe Moving and Storage, an Amazon gift card from $50 from House Call Home Inspections, and one winner will win 2 dinner tickets to our golf outing, which is coming up in September. So thank you for being here today. Please note and take a moment to recognize all our very supportive corporate partners. These individuals and their companies help support this association in many ways. What we do would not be possible without them. Information about these companies is being displayed during the meeting. Today, our sponsors are Guaranteed Rate, House Call Home Inspections, Grosse Pointe Moving and Storage, and our primary sponsor, Flagstar Bank. Now, please review a brief note from Grosse Pointe Moving and Storage, followed by your president, Alexis DeLuca, who would like to say hello.
Good morning, everybody. Grosse Pointe Moving and Storage is a new affiliated member to the board. We're really excited to be here. My name's Taylor Lydon. I'm the new owner of Grosse Pointe Moving and Storage as of last year, and I'm joined by my colleague, Kim Jennings. We're excited to talk to you about Grosse Pointe Moving and Storage. For those of you who are not familiar, the company has been around for 35 years. Our goal is to kind of re-energize the business and really to become that go-to full-service, white glove, moving, storage, and packing provider. For those of you not familiar with our services, Grosse Pointe Moving and Storage offers both residential and commercial moving, both locally, across state and out of state, in addition to full service storage solution. What we think is really our competitive advantage on the moving side of the business is that we have employees that are part of our moving crew that have been with the company for almost 20 years. They're truly professionals at their craft. There's nothing they haven't seen, no scenario that they haven't been through, and they know how stressful moving can be for customers. And our customers take a lot of confidence in our crew. From a storage perspective, our facility is located on East Jefferson, just outside of Grosse Pointe Park. Where we set ourselves apart is really through our full service offering and our security. From a full service perspective, we will pick up and drop off on call. And when items do come into storage, they go into storage pods and then upstairs in our facility, and the only individuals with access to that storage is our employees. Now, to my earlier point of becoming that go-to white glove full service provider, we recently brought on Kim Jennings. She has over 20 years of packing, organizing, and unpacking services, and a lot of our customers are now looking to us and Kim and her team to help with their packing needs. With that said, I'm going to turn it over to Kim to talk a little bit about what she does best.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you so much for hiring me. I'm very, very happy to be finally part of the team. I have had a 20-year relationship with Grosse Pointe Movers, and right now we have a packing, unpacking, and organizing team. We initially go in to the first meeting, we reassure the client that it's going to be a smooth move for them, and we basically take all aspects of what they need and implement it perfectly. That's our word, perfectly, so that they have the easiest, more comfortable move that we can give them. We've hit it on the nail. We've had a lot of positive feedback from our white glove approach, and we are building a reputation for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, again for the opportunity to work closer with you and your customers. As a new affiliate member of the board, we're excited to work closer with everybody involved. Thank you again, and we look forward to meeting everybody in the near future.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome, everyone, to today's general membership meeting. I'm excited to be here with you today. We have a full agenda, including a presentation by our nationally renowned keynote speaker, Dr. Lawrence Yun. Please join me now in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we dive into our meeting program, I'd like to echo Bob in lending a special thank you to today's sponsors and presenters, to all of our 2021 corporate partners, and to all of you for joining us today. Next, a warm welcome to the new Gpbr members in the audience and to all who are attending their first Gpbr general membership meeting this morning. I invite everyone to join me via the chat window to say thank you and welcome. 2021 has been a whirlwind so far. With the first 2 quarters of the year under our belts, we have hosted more than 75 meetings, classes, and networking events, with many more to come. Additionally, association leadership has participated in several workshops and seminars at the state and national level, and look forward to quite a few more taking place in the second half of the year. While we're very much looking forward to getting back face-to-face, we have enjoyed the opportunity to access these MR and NAR events from the comfort of our own homes and offices. Going forward, as we resume in-person activities, starting with the happy hour tomorrow at Zeph's Dockside in St. Clair Shores, we will not overlook the benefits of remote participation. In fact, the Gpbr extended leadership team is hard at work building a solution to allow for hybrid participation. Stay tuned for more on this coming soon hybrid event environment. Later this morning, President-elect Chris Van Bell will have more to say on upcoming classes and events. I look forward to seeing you at Gpbr programs and encourage everyone to take advantage of opportunities to further your industry professionalism, such as NAR's Fair Haven simulation and Commitment to Excellence C2EX endorsement. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce today's primary sponsor, Flagstar Bank, represented by Assistant Vice President of Sales and Senior Loan Officer, Kyle Gazowski. Kyle, please take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Kyle Gazowski and I'm a loan officer over at Flagstar Bank. I've been with the company over the past 7 years as my team and I have been helping families all across the Metro Detroit area get into new homes. As of late, we've been expanding our presence in the Grosse Pointe area, and over the past 12 months, it's been truly a great experience working with and helping the families within the community. With the summer rolling around and the crazy market that we're in, I wanted to highlight a few of the programs that we have to offer that may be able to help your borrowers get into homes. Flagstar continues to be competitive with our jumbo rates and programs. For professionals in their first year of practicing as doctors, dentists, CPAs, attorneys, amongst other occupations, we currently have a great purchase program for them. If qualifications are met, they would be able to put down a minimal down payment with no PMI, really helping our borrowers save on their payment. For qualified low to moderate income first-time home buyers looking to buy in low to moderate income CRA areas in limited counties, we are offering a no down payment required with no PMI program. This is a great program to help give our borrower an extra boost of confidence they need to purchase their new home. With all the changes and all the programs coming out, it's an exciting time to be in the business and working with such a great company. For any program specifics, please don't hesitate to give me a call or reach out via email, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Alexis, and a special thank you to Kyle for Flagstar's partnership and sponsorship of today's program. I also want to remind you one last time to register for the 5 drawings at the end of the meeting by going to www.gpbr.com/win. Registration closes at 9:30. Next, it is my distinct privilege to introduce a friend of mine, Dr. Lawrence Yun, Chief Economist and Senior Vice President of Research for the NAR. Since he became the Chief Economist of the NAR, his leadership has transformed its research division into a powerhouse of information in producing 83 different reports across 10 different topics, including commercial, residential, consumer opinion, international, and technology. His leadership also transformed the research committee. When he first joined NAR, the research committee had to offer a full lunch to populate a half-full meeting room. Now their meetings are standing room only, and we don't get lunch. One final note and a little known bit of information, Dr. Yun's insight into our industry is about as close to firsthand as it can get. His wife is a realtor. It is humbling to say I have known Dr. Yun since he joined NAR, and it is an honor to have him with us this morning. Lawrence, take it away.
Thank you, Bob, for such a kind, unique introduction because Bob and I have known for many, many years. When I first joined NAR, he was a part of the research committee members. And also as a realtors, and many of you are engaged in the association activity, which is showing to the policy world, especially here in Washington, where they are trying to look at some housing issues to assure that our views are well represented. I want to thank President Alexis also for being the volunteer leader, because we always appreciate the local state association leadership where we get all the information feedback about what is happening out on the field, what is important for our members on a day-to-day basis. So I always appreciate the leadership at all state and local associations. So thank you, President Alexis. Now, I want to share some my thoughts about the economy, the real estate market, what you can anticipate. Let's see, the PowerPoint on the screen can be withdrawn so I can upload mine. Let me see. Okay. Hold 1 second as I do that. Okay, there we go. All right, so first on the housing numbers, what we are finding is that before the pandemic, and I think, one of the thing about some bad events like the pandemic is if one wants to find a silver lining, we appreciate every single day now, or hopefully we begin to appreciate every single day, because during the lockdown, it was not a fun time. So before the pandemic, housing market was fairly boring, meaning little up, little down. People were doing business, they were generating their income, but no major changes. Then the lockdown occurred and the sales plummeted for the simple reason that you cannot show homes. And the major expenditure for home purchase, people need to see the backyard. They need to visit inside the house. The virtual tour simply does not do. I know in some cases people were able to do transactions, but once the economy reopened, the sales recover with astonishing speed. You can see not only is it recovering back to pre-pandemic, but surpassing pre-pandemic levels. So during the pandemic, people have viewed their home as something more special than ever before. Maybe they need a larger space. Maybe they need, for office workers, have that additional bedroom transformed into an office space. Whatever the reason, people have viewed their housing as more important than ever before. So sales not only recovering, but surpassing the pre-pandemic activity. But note that in recent months, sales activity are not as strong as what it had been. Let me phrase it a little differently. What I mean by this is October, November last year, you were seeing sales activity about 25% above the 1 year ago. Now we are seeing only about 10% above 1 year ago. So it is still above pre-pandemic, but less strong than what it had been. So some degree of topping out period. But if we look at the builders, home builders activity, new home sales, it is still holding on. Despite the challenges of lumber prices, high material costs, whatever the builders put up, the buyers are ready to sign contract. So the new home sales appears to still show strength. So why are the sales activity less strong in recent months compared to before? Again, overall housing market recovered with astonishing speed, very, very strong. And the inventory chart clearly shows the reason why sales may not be clicking. First, one of the top Google search word phrasing currently today is, are we in a housing market bubble? Well, prices have risen so much, that's a valid question for consumers. But you should use this chart to counter that argument. Back in 2005, 2006, when the home prices were plunging, the inventory levels were essentially 4 times more than what it is today. We are in a housing shortage. In a shortage environment, you don't have price declines, especially in Grosse Pointe or the greater Detroit area, one of the major cities with most affordable home prices. This is a very attractive conditions. So certainly we are in a different environment today versus say 14, 15 years ago. So the inventory declines are appearing more sharply in the lower price points. As you go up the price scale, we actually have either no change in inventory or on $1 million plus, actually more inventory. So you see the drastic differences about inventory performance or the availability. And if we look at the sales chart, where the home sales are clicking and not clicking, what we find is home sales are clicking on the upper end, but not on the lower end. As you know, you have a first-time buyers, but you are not unable to sign contract because of lack of inventory, or a property shows up, multiple offers, and therefore there are multiple losers in that contract process. But anytime you have 20 bid, 1 person win, 19% loses, and the sales are not clicking simply due to lack of inventory. So if we had more inventory, automatically we would have more home sales. So don't be concerned somehow the home buyers are retreating from the marketplace, because it looks like buyers are not retreating. Rather, we don't have enough supply, and the lack of supply is hindering home sales from clicking along. So if we can have more supply, then we will be in a much better position. Now, home prices in the greater Detroit area, including the Grosse Pointe, as you can see, rose sharply during the pandemic. Price appreciation better than 10%. So whatever the home you had, add a 10% to it. That's additional housing wealth that many homeowners are building. But for the home buyers, this, the higher home prices should cause a little concern. But still, buyers are in the market. They are not retreating. They're not stepping back. They're saying, we just want more inventory choices. We are ready to sign a deal, but the lack of inventory is hindering some of the sales potential. Why do we have housing shortage? And the answer is very simple from this graph. This is new home construction. Based on US population growth, job creation, America needs to produce where the horizontal red line, that historical average. And as you can see, in the prior years, 1960s, 1970s, some years we produce more than average, and other years we produce less. But look what has happened from 2006 onwards. We have been under historical average and deeply under historical average for multiple years. In fact, 13 straight years. And the cumulative impact of underproduction is we simply don't have enough homes for sale. I know in Detroit area, where very unique economic circumstance, you have people moving out, the difficult auto industry, but there has been a lot of demolition of some dilapidated homes in the Detroit region. So the housing stock declined. But now we're in a job recovery. But the reason why we have housing shortage is because of multiple years of underproduction. The final 2 red bar, that is my projection forecast. So we are now finally surpassing historical average, but you can say this is not doing justice to the shortage that we have done. but at least we are moving in the right direction. So you can anticipate more inventory in the autumn, and certainly by 2022, this time next year, not as a tight housing market condition as we are experiencing today. Now, the Federal Reserve is all in, maximum liquidity policy. The green line is the official Federal Reserve policy, zero interest rate environment, and they have no indication of raising interest rate until possibly 18 months or 24 months from now. So far, far out. So the green line is what the Federal Reserve controls, but the red is what the people are paying on their mortgages. So mortgage rates were falling, which was reason for the surge in home sales last year. But note that now the mortgage rates are off their absolute bottom, currently averaging around 3%. December, it was 2.7. If you had a client in December, congratulate them. Say, you got absolutely bonus low rate, 2.7%, congratulations. Today's buyers missed out on that, but still you would have to say that 3% is pretty good deal. But why is the mortgage rate rising a bit when the Federal Reserve is not doing anything? Well, it's because the blue line is rising. And the blue line, the middle line, is the interest rate that the US government pay to finance the deficit. The fiscal stimulus, which supported the economy, provided a stimulus check for many American households in order to assure that we don't have a deep recession, but it's not a free lunch. It's raising the budget deficit and also financed partly by printing of the money. And some of the people who are buying US government debt or financing US government debt is saying, look, I'm getting nervous. You are printing so much money and you are also having a large budget deficit. You are planning on infrastructure spending, more deficit, and we are getting a little nervous. Only way I can finance your debt is if you pay a little higher interest rate. So the blue line is rising. And anytime the blue line rises, automatically it begins to push up the red line, the mortgage rates. So my best guess, December of this year, do not be surprised if mortgage rate hit 3.5%. Right now it's 3%. So is it a big game changer? I would think that it could be a game changer in a very expensive market like San Francisco. But in the Midwest, where homes are affordable, maybe it doesn't do too much of a damage from rising mortgage rate. Maybe the jobs recovery is more important, but expect rising mortgage rates. Week to week, maybe there's some volatility, but generally speaking, longer person waits, mortgage rate will be likely to be higher. Another concern that we have related to the mortgage rate is inflation is clearly breaking out higher, above the key 2% line. 2% is what economists say is pretty good inflation rate. And if it goes exceed 2%, let's try to contain it. Well, President Biden and his Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, along with the central bank, are now saying 2% is not that important. 4% inflation is no problem because the way the Biden administration is looking at it is to say that we want average to be 2% and not the current as 2%. Let me make it clear on what that distinction is. If today's inflation is 4%, Biden administration and the Federal Reserve is saying no problem. Why? Because last year it was 0, and you have 0, and today 4, it averages to be 2. So we will tolerate a little higher inflation than before in order to support the economy, in order to get more job creation. But let's see whether inflation is occurring and not occurring. This is purposely comparing March 2020 after 12 months, compare pre-pandemic versus almost current position. I know there's the April data, which I have not incorporated, but trying to compare with the pre-pandemic. Airfares are actually still lower. I know the flights are back, but it's still a little lower. Tickets for sporting events generally are a little lower. Car insurance is tad lower. So if you need to renew your car insurance and they're quoting a little higher rate, tell them overall it's lower and you may switch companies. College tuition, maybe the universities felt a little guilty about online education last year. So generally speaking, very little increase in college tuition. Renters rent rising 1%. Moving and storage. I know one of the sponsors today are helping on the moving and sponsoring, and we always appreciate. But generally, the moving and storage, there is a shortage of the moving trucks availability. There are more movers now than before, so it's costing more, 5% higher on average compared to 1 year before. Beef prices. Well, if you are vegetarian, no problem. But if you're a meat eater, you are angry. Beef prices rising 7%. I think it's going to go up more. As you know, there's computer hackers on some meat factories going on. In appliance, you buy a new home, you want to get a new refrigerator in, well, it's much more expensive. I also highlighted that two yellow portion, used car and new car. Note that the used car prices are rising much more strongly compared to new cars, which is implying that there is some degree of middle class anxiety about the strength of the US economy. Because if you feel very confident, people want to buy new car. But the fact that people want to buy used car, prices rising on the used car much more strongly is implying there's still a degree of financial anxiety among middle class families. Gasoline prices, 6-year high, certainly hitting the realtor's pocketbook immediately. Realtors drive much more frequently compared to general population. And I mentioned about home prices rising. Believe it or not, it's not part of the consumer price inflation. So when government consider what is inflation, they say home prices, we don't consider it. Just like they don't consider the stock market, they don't consider the gold prices, they don't consider home prices as part of the inflation, even though your consumers are definitely caring about home prices. And there's more inflation along the way, because if we look at producer prices, not what the consumers are paying, what the producers are paying, especially for construction material, you can see rising and rising and rising, which imply there could be future inflationary pressure along the way, given the strong pipeline inflationary pressure. Let me also turn back to rents, because about 40% of the realtors have investor property trying to collect rents. And the rent collection during the pandemic really went down. So before the pandemic, rent growth was around 4%. But now the rent growth is only about 1% or reaching 2%, much weaker. But I expect this to soon reach back up to 4% increase. And why do I believe the rents will rise? Well, the rents will rise for the reason that the renters are popping out again. So when the pandemic hit, especially workers working in the restaurant, hotel, especially young adults, they went straight to parents' basement. But now that the jobs have been created, people are comfortable eating at a restaurant, people are getting vaccinated, and now the renters are popping out of the basement, and the rental demand is picking up back to the pre-pandemic levels. So it's inevitable that the rents that you see decelerating will begin to turn upwards in the upcoming months. But that will also mean higher inflation. So expect inflation to be added because of the rents turning the corner and moving higher. So let's look at the job market. This is the 50-state job market performance now, or the most recently available data versus pre-pandemic. Michigan down 6.8% in terms of jobs. And Michigan is underperformer, but it's doing a little better than New York or in California. But what is a commonality between, say, California, New York, and Michigan is that you had a longer lockdown in a more restrictive way. I know the politics is a very divisive issue, but just objectively, in terms of the lockdown period, Michigan had a longer lockdown than other states and is underperforming economically. Only 2 states have more jobs today compared to 1 year before or pre-pandemic, Utah and Idaho. And the governors there essentially said, look, coronavirus is dangerous. Put your mask on, social distancing, but we're not going to shut the economy down. And hence their economy at least is performing at the risk of possible containment on some coronavirus. So different governors pursue different policies, and you see some performance differences across the country. Now, The US job market over the past 20 years looks like the following. From year 2000, we had some artificial job creation from subprime lending. It was bad mortgages, risky mortgage. So we went through foreclosure crisis and we lost those jobs. But from 2010 onwards, America experienced the longest job creating condition ever, 10 straight years of job creation. I don't want to embed any politics to it, but if you want to know who presided over, you can say President Obama and President Trump. 10 straight years of job creation, amazing performance. Then the pandemic hit, and in a single month, we wiped away 10 years of progress. With the economy reopening, some jobs are being created, but we are only halfway there. This is the US picture. And now I am going to show the greater Detroit area, which includes the Grosse Pointe. The red horizontal line is the reference point for year 2000. This is the jobs in the Detroit, Warren, Dearborn, Grosse Pointe region. So from year 2000, the Detroit market has been consistently below the red line, clearly underperforming compared to the rest of the country. Very difficult time in the auto industry, but note from low point in 2010, Detroit experienced 10 straight years of job creation, just like the rest of the country. You are still unable to come back to the red line, but at least you were making 10 straight years of job creation. Then the lockdown, painful lockdown, going way below, now trying to climb back up. But you see that you are still short compared to the pre-pandemic conditions. One interesting phenomenon, and I think you are beginning to hear this more and more in the news condition, is that even though the job market is not 100% back to normal, job openings are at a record high. I don't know what's happening in Grosse Pointe, but what I can say here in the DC area is every time I walk the street, I see help wanted signs, especially at a restaurant, fast food place, retail shop, help wanted. Job openings at a record high levels. And we have underperforming job market. Some people are blaming, is it the generous unemployment benefits that is deterring people from getting these jobs with the job openings? Or is it the case that still we don't have the whole population vaccinated and everyone has a free choice, whether you want to be vaccinated or not, people have that free choice, but maybe people are still hesitant to go out. The other possibility with the schools closed or at least work closed, that makes very difficult for young parents with school-age kid what to do. Childcare is very expensive and therefore they want to stay home and not seek jobs. So the all combination is hindering people from getting the job, even though job openings are at a record high conditions. Let me end it with a forecast. So the forecast is that home sales activity, where your income is dependent upon, first quarter numbers up about 13% on a nationwide basis. For your local market, Bob Taylor is the source. He does great information on all the statistics. So look at what Bob Taylor is doing. But that's, the first quarter numbers were up. Second quarter would be very, very high, but from artificial comparison. You are comparing with a lockdown period of the second quarter last year. So it will be very high. Third quarter would be about the same, but the fourth quarter, I actually expect lower home sales. So please manage your overall finances with this expectation. Why is the fourth quarter sales lower? Based on my mortgage rate increasing up to 3.5%. That's going to hold back some of the buying activity. But the annual numbers, if you believe that my quarterly forecast make reasonable sense, is that we are going to have the best year in 2021 in about 15 years. And you say, why is that? And I went through this logic, quarterly logic, but the easy way to think about it is last year we missed 3 months of home sales. This year we have 12 months of home sales. So clicking that along, even with a little light fourth quarter, home sales in 2021 would be best in 15 years. One final thought is, even with job creation, office leasing is not picking up because this work from home phenomena could be a new permanent feature of the post-pandemic economy. maybe it's not going to be work from home forever, as Twitter has announced to their employees. You can work from home forever, and Twitter, they are shutting down their San Francisco office. But I think it's going to be some kind of hybrid to say that come to office 2 or 3 days a week, but other days have a long weekend. Maybe Mondays and Fridays you work from home, so essentially a long weekend. So if this is the case, then maybe we will see people moving out of very expensive cities, San Francisco, maybe LA, New York, Washington, to say, why am I in these expensive cities when I don't have to go to office every single day? Midwest certainly offers affordability. And also, as you saw on the employment in the greater Detroit area, you had a huge employment back in the year 2000. That means there are many Americans living in other states who grew up in the Detroit region. They have a childhood memories. And maybe they say, I remember growing up in Grosse Pointe. I'm here working in, say, Chicago. I'm working here in Boston. But now with work from home flexibility, maybe I want to return to where my childhood neighborhood was. So that could be some positive development. It's hard to say, but anticipate that this work from home flexibility could fundamentally change some of the dynamics of home buying and residential choice. So thank you for allowing me time to share some of my thoughts about the economy. Now I am going to turn it back. I guess it's either to Bob or President Alexis. Thank you.
I'm going to pick up here. Allison, it's time for some Q&A for Dr. Yun. Do we have, and thank you, Lawrence, for your presentation. As always, I pay close attention. Allison, do we have any questions for Dr. Yun?
We do. Here's the first one. With property taxes astronomically high since the recession and many municipalities and school districts having mills between 40 and 71 in the metropolitan area, do you think municipalities will drop their tax rate to help make homes affordable again?
The part of the stimulus package, as a consumer, people were focusing on, am I getting the $600 check? Am I getting the $1,400 check? But part of the stimulus package was also putting money for state and local government to say that, you ran through some deficit, so here's some money. So the locality should be getting that money apart, which means that trying to raise property tax would be counterproductive. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, especially when the state and local government receive some of the federal funds to balance their books. So, but anytime property tax rises, I mean, it's a hindrance for people wanting to live in that locality or move into that locality.
Thank you. Second question. Regarding your slide with new housing stats, 1960 to 2020, what effect do you see on the U.S. housing market as a result of long-term population decline forecasted for the U.S. based on declining birth rates as proven by the latest census results?
So in terms of the birth rate, just like during the Great Depression, 1930s, the birth rate declined. When people are not optimistic about the future, they don't want to bring new child to the world. So during the Great Depression, the birth rate declined, and also during 2020 pandemic, birth rate declined. But that does not mean that U.S. population is not rising. It is still rising. It's one of the rare advanced economy with rising population, partly due to legal immigration. And I know illegal immigration is a separate debate, but combination of the birth along with legal immigration, U.S. population, according to census, is overall expected to rise. Population is, is not topping off. So that's a housing demand. But I think in the Detroit area, where you have visibly seen people move out of the region over the past 20 years, or even past 3 decades, you have many empty homes sitting around, and therefore you have that sense. But America overall is facing rising population, and the question becomes whether now people begin to see affordability, whether Midwest can offer to the rest of the country that this is a great place to get a large size home at affordable prices, and furthermore great school and great place to raise family. Whether that changes the dynamics, it remains to be seen.
Thank you. Our next question is, do you expect upcoming foreclosures to give us some relief from the housing shortage and stabilize housing prices?
It will provide more inventory for sure, but it's not going to be a flood of inventory. First, given the price increases, for those people in mortgage forbearance period, maybe they have positive housing equity. So it doesn't have to be short sales or foreclosure sale. It can simply be normal sale. Ideally, mortgage forbearance program was put in place to say, we are giving a timeout period for you to find job. And given the job market is recovering, hopefully they find a job. But after they find job, we'll see whether they just remain current homeowners or some decide to list their home. But one thing is people who are in mortgage forbearance, I mean, they rarely ever want to list their property, so that held back some of the inventory potential.
Thank you. Typically during a recession, part of the unemployment rate is driven by people taking an opportunity to enter a new career. Can you comment on what proportion of unemployed are changing careers?
Some are going into real estate. We have a record high realtor membership. I'm agnostic to the figure. For people who are trying out, as some people think it's an easy business, they quickly realize how challenging it is. Because you have to build that referral base by doing best service to your clients, and hence get the recommendation referral over time. And it takes many years to become a successful realtor. But given that some people lost jobs, they said, why don't I try real estate? So that's one area where people have gone into. Maybe other people have, trying out some of the gig economy, like the Uber drivers part. But overall, right now, based on the switching of the jobs, I mean, certainly there's a job creation in the tech sector. There is job creation in the warehousing and distribution, all this online shopping, FedEx driver, UPS drivers, anything related to warehouse. So there's that job part. So overall switching, I think it's too early to say, but U.S. economy is always that dynamic, and there's always some degree of switching back and forth.
Thank you. We've got time for just two more questions. I understand why gold and stock might not be included in the CPI, but why not houses? Everybody needs some place to live, but doesn't need gold or other luxury items.
So that's one of those academic debate. The component of the housing that is included in the CPI is apartment rents and something called homeowner equivalency rent. Now, the U.S. said, what the heck is that? Why don't we just include home prices? And again, they said, well, that's an asset. That's why we don't want to include it. But homeowner equivalency rent is a little fuzzy. You are a homeowner, and hypothetically, say you want to rent out your house. What rent would you charge? And how is that rent changing from one year to the next? So it's a mental hypothetical exercise. And I don't know how the statistician in Washington compute that number, but there's that number, which is almost same as the apartment rent trends. But they use that as part of the home ownership cost of housing. And I don't think it is truly reflective of the housing cost, but that's what's included in the consumer price index.
Thank you. And one final question. Do you see employers reducing wages to compensate for work at home options? The work from home, I think that's going to be trial and error process. I think companies really don't know. Maybe they find that some company who bring all their workers 5 days a week, they outperform other companies, which means that they're going to go back to the prior normal. Or it could be that company that say come to work 5 days a week, they can not find new set of technology workers. All these technology workers are saying, no, I need flexibility, and hence they lose business. So I think the trial and error process is really how the company performs, and that will determine what the equilibrium status will be. And the part of the trial and error process is, yes, you are working for Twitter in San Francisco, but now you want to go to Michigan? Well, we're going to cut your pay by 20%. And I don't know whether people will take that option or whether Twitter does not offer that choice. So again, it will be trial and error process on how the market dynamics play out. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence, and thank you for some great information. We know your time is valuable and that you're very busy. You're welcome to stick around with us for the balance of the meeting, but if you're unable, we understand. For those of you who are interested, we will have today's slides available at the board website after the meeting. Next, I would like to introduce another of today's sponsors, House Call Home Inspections. Please pay attention to their message.
Hello, Grosse Pointe Board. Jamie Paternoster with House Call Home Inspection. As your local home inspector, I just want to remind you that although we are proficient at being technical, going through the house, understanding all of the mechanicals and everything in between, we are also here to educate you and your clients on what to do next. Please know that with all of our services that we offer, like radon testing, mold and air quality testing, sewer scope cameras, and almost everything else, we want to be your solution to any questions that you have. Always feel free to call us, whether it be about a listing or a buyer that's going through a house, at 586-434-0243. Also remember to use our live calendar at housecalldetroit.com to schedule your next inspection. We look forward to hearing from you or your clients soon.
Thank you, Jamie, and thank you for your message and today's sponsorship by your company. Next, please listen to this message from your Gpbr Fair Housing and Diversity Committee.
Good morning. I'm Christine Crook, a Grosse Pointe Board of Realtors volunteer for the Fair Housing and Diversity Committee. Last year, the National Association of REALTORS made some changes to the Code of Ethics. The new or amended policies can be grouped in three broad categories. 1, changes to the Code of Ethics applicability to a realtor's activities. 2, a new standard of practice under Article 10 prohibiting discriminatory speech and conduct. And 3, revisions to the definition of public trust. Let's take a closer look at these changes to further understand exactly what they are and what they mean to us as realtors. Changes to the Code of Ethics, applicability to a realtor's activities. Prior to the 2020 changes, only actions and words that occurred during real estate related activities and transactions involving realtors were applicable to the Code of Ethics. That meant that unless the conduct and speech could be tied to a real estate related activity or transaction, the Code of Ethics did not apply. The change that occurred and became active in January of 2021 is that the applicability of the Code of Ethics expands to all of a realtor's activities. However, some articles and standards of practice do remain specific to real estate transactions and other related activities. New standard of practice under Article 10. The most notable change to the Code of Ethics that applies to all realtor activities is the standard of practice under Article 10, specifically Standard of Practice 10-5, which states, realtors must not use harassing speech, hate speech, epithets, or slurs based on race, color, religion, sex, handicapped, familial status, national origin, sexual orientation, or gender identity. This is derived directly from the requirement to not deny equal professional services or be parties to a plan to discriminate. This means that bias against protected classes that is shown through public posting of hate speech potentially results in realtors not working with clients that may be from those protected classes or not treating them equally. This would lead to violations of the Fair Housing Act due to discrimination or disparate impact. Revisions to the definition of public trust. The definition of public trust has been expanded to include all discrimination against protected classes and all fraud as under Article 10 of the Code of Ethics. This means that associations are required to notify state licensing authorities when final ethics decisions holding realtors in violation of the Code of Ethics, where matters involve real estate related activities and transactions, have a reason to believe that public trust may have been violated. These changes to the Code of Ethics have caused many questions to surface. The National Association of Realtors has responded to some of these common questions, and I will go over a few in their responses here today. I should be able to say whatever I want on my personal social media profile. It doesn't impact my ability to do my job. Why is what I say there now subject to the code? This is going too far. Put simply, when one realtor engages in discriminatory speech and conduct, those actions demonstrate to consumers that they represent the actions of realtors collectively. The realtor brand is built on ethics and integrity. Discriminatory speech and conduct, to the contrary, depletes the strength of the realtor brand. This feels like a knee-jerk reaction to the social unrest going on throughout the nation. Aren't these policies just a reflection of the organization trying to be politically correct? The 2019 Newsday investigation of discrimination in real estate in Long Island, New York, and the events of 2020 have merely shed a light on discrimination that has persisted historically, but that many were not in a position to experience or see happen. The Code of Ethics has embodied principles of fair housing for decades, and as such, these policies are consistent with the spirit and intent of the code, as well as the guidance embodied in the Golden Rule. If you have more questions regarding the changes of the code to the Code of Ethics or the definition of the terms, please refer to the email you will be receiving during this meeting. Thank you all for taking the time to learn a little bit more about our Realtor Code of Ethics and how it strengthens the Realtor commitment to fair housing. Want to show your commitment to fair housing? Join our All In for Diversity campaign today. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine, for your message and about the important recent changes to our Code of Ethics. Now, please welcome the following messages from Anne Marie DeRosier, your 2021 Harper Woods Grosse Pointe Chapter President, and Gino Tazzi, your 2021 Macomb County Chapter President.
Good morning. It's been my honor serving as the 2021 president of the Harper Woods Grosse Pointe chapter. It's been a pleasure to see terrific participation during these unprecedented times from our members. We have terrific liaisons to each of the cities that we live and work in and have been able to keep abreast of and weigh in on issues that are important to our members, our neighbors, and property owner rights. We now also have a liaison to Wayne County as well, so that those issues that impact our communities come to us early in the process. This past month, the chapter welcomed a new regent, Ryan Lally, who will serve alongside the other regents. Welcome, Ryan. As we see our beautiful parks fully open, the marinas, splash pads, pools, and fitness paths, and more, it is with excitement that I look forward to members' continued participation in the Main Street America project awarded to the Village of Grosse Pointe, the continued growth of Avenue in the Woods, making Mack Avenue an even more enjoyable and walkable destination with benches and improved planters and a renewed enthusiasm. Additionally, I'm excited about the Mack Avenue Improvement Project between the Grosse Pointes and Detroit, unifying and beautifying this very important corridor. We live and work in a beautiful community, a community that's a pleasure to show in and to sell to new owners. Additionally, there are many opportunities to lead and serve in the chapter. With over 3 decades of involvement, I can guarantee the service and leadership positions I have had the pleasure to hold have not only made me a better realtor, but have made me more money. please call me to talk about opportunities to lead, serve, and participate more in the chapter that could be a great fit for your life and your business. We enjoy a management team that goes above and beyond to deliver the best member experience. These are people that know us and know our business. They are always forward-thinking while remaining very much in the moment with each member contact. We have the best, and I'm very grateful for that every time I do board and realtor business with them. Lastly, the board's educational opportunities abound, making members successful, productive, and profitable. Take advantage of the offerings. I promise you won't regret it. Thank you.
Hello, everybody from Grosse Pointe Board of Realtors. I hope that everyone's having a great morning. This is our general membership meeting. I'm the president of the Macomb chapter, Gino, and we have a lot of things going on. Our chapter has been expanding. People are getting more involved in our chapter, and that's terrific. Since I've taken over back in January of 2021, our membership at the board level has grown, but also our chapter has tried to reach out and to get more involved with the community. So one of the things that we've been doing is inviting local leaders, elected officials around Macomb County to attend our meetings. We've already had 2 come, and we're going to have more throughout the year. We also attend and virtually, but also when the meetings resume, we attend city council meetings, township meetings. We really like to see what's going on in Macomb County. We want to get an idea for the pulse, and that way we can give some value back to the residents of Macomb County and show that the Grosse Pointe Board of Realtors is not just a group of real estate professionals. We're also stakeholders in the community. And that's one of our goals this year, is to get more integrated into the communities of Macomb County. Another thing that we're doing is we're identifying and working with local officials to see what projects are involved that we could grant money to. That's one of the things that NAR allows us to do. And I think that it would be of a great benefit to the local communities. And I think that they would see us as partners that they can rely on in order to increase the prosperity of Macomb County and increase property values. As far as what's coming next, our membership, we expect it to grow. We believe that as things return to normal and people get more comfortable, we'll be able to do more face-to-face events. We'll get to have more meetings with local government officials. And I believe our footprint is going to grow drastically in Macomb County as other realtors see the benefit of our ability to link with other groups throughout the county and benefit them. Thank you very much for your time, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Anne Marie and Gino. If you have any questions about how to get involved in our chapters, please give them a call or send us a message here at the board office. If you're not familiar with the chapter structure, that is not unlikely. We are unique in the state of Michigan and one of only a few local associations in the country that use the chapter organizational structure to create a hyper-local attachment to both our members and our communities. Our final sponsor presentation today is by Guaranteed Rate. Please pay attention to their message.
Hello, Grosse Pointe Board of Realtors. My name is Tegan Delgado. I am the Marketing and Business Development Manager on Nathan Steiner's team at Guaranteed Rate. I am so excited to be here with you today, even if it is virtually, and we appreciate you sitting through these sponsor videos. We are such a proud partner of the Grosse Pointe Board of Realtors, and we love being able to share and network with all of you guys. And I just wanted to let you guys know that we are always, always, always here to help your buyers with their financing, whether they are buying an investment property, second home, a primary residence, if they're a first-time home buyer. we have got them covered. We are licensed in multiple states and can help in all 50. So if you ever have anyone who is outside of state lines that maybe you're not even helping, we would love to take care of them because you know the kind of service that we will give them. I also want to point out that we are a full service team. So we do really take pride in all of our marketing and business development and the ideas that we try to put out there for you guys to grow your business, because that ultimately means we can help more families make sure that they are in the best financial position. We want to let you guys know that we are always available to talk brainstorming meetings. You can set those up with me one-on-one. If you don't currently follow us on Instagram, that is a huge platform for us where we will promote properties with our listing lineup. So if you don't know what that is, we will actually reach out every Monday to see if there is an opportunity for us to promote one of your listings on our social platforms. We do it on LinkedIn, Facebook, and our Instagram, and we do have a lot of connections across all three of those platforms. So it does really get that exposure out there. A lot of the people are in your area, so we would love to do that for you. We also host monthly webinars. So if you ever want to join us for one of those, we go over social media tips and tricks, tools that we use for our team to make us more efficient, those kind of things. And we will do them, like I said, monthly. They're only 30 minutes long, so we try to make them short and sweet, don't take too much time out of your day. And we just really want to be a resource for you to help grow your business and talk all marketing, finance, all that good stuff. So if there's anything that we can do to help you, we would love to chat. You can always reach out to Nathan or myself. I will make sure that both of our contact information is up here. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of your networking session. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much to our friends at Guaranteed Rate. We appreciate your sponsorship of today's program. As a reminder to everyone in the audience, you can find the contact information for Guaranteed Rate and all the Gpbr affiliate members by logging into your member portal and using the Connect directory. Before I get to the upcoming events and classes, I'd like to touch on 2022 leadership opportunities. Among my duties as president-elect is identifying committee chairs and participants for the coming year. If you are looking to get involved in any way as a committee volunteer in 2022, please visit gpbr.com/committees to let us know what interests you, or you can reach out to any one of us at the board. Additionally, we will hold elections for our 2022 chapter regents in September and for our 2022 board of directors in October. Please keep an eye out for a call to nominations in August and consider submitting an application for candidacy if you'd like to serve as a director or as a regent. As a reminder to our affiliate members and corporate partners, there are elected positions for our affiliate regents on both chapters and affiliate director of the board of directors. Are you curious about the commitment to serve in this capacity? Ask a member of the management team or one of our 2021 directors or regents. Visit gpbr/leadership to find their contact information. All right, guys, it's almost time to spin the wheel for today's drawing, but first, a couple of announcements. As President DeLuca mentioned earlier, we are resuming some of our in-person activities, starting with a happy hour member meetup tomorrow at Zeff's Dockside Bar in Kitchen from 5 to 7 p.m. The next morning pop-in mixer hosted by the Macomb chapter is on June 10th. From 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. at Starbucks on Utica Road in Fraser. All Grosse Pointe board members are invited to attend regardless of chapter affiliation. And remember, bring a friend. It's a lot of fun. Our monthly roundtable discussion will remain virtual this month. Please join us on Friday, June 11th at 12 p.m. via Zoom. We expect to resume in-person roundtable luncheons in July. Our Community Outreach Committee is hosting a table at the Sterling Heights Music in the Parks event on June 17th. All are encouraged to stop by and say hello between the afternoon farmers market and the evening musical entertainment. Presented by our affiliate committee, a new 3-part class series, Taming the Transaction, launches this month with a first session June 23rd. Thanks to the affiliate volunteers for putting this together. You can find details for the course series at gpbr.com/taming the transaction.
We'll have a class on home inspections, June 28th via Zoom, presented by Jamie Paternoster of House Call Home Inspections. To view a full list of the upcoming free Success Series classes, go to gpbr.com/success series. Our July happy hour is moved back a week due to the 4th of July holiday weekend. Please save the date of July 8th and stay tuned for more information. Also on July 8th is another morning pop-in mixer at Big B Coffee. This time it's on Hayes Road in Clinton Township. We hope you can join us this morning for some caffeine and networking. Our Governmental Affairs Committee is planning an outdoor networking event in August. Date to be determined, in support of RPAC 2. We'll all hope you'll join us and bring a colleague along for cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and entertainment. After holding the last 4 general membership meetings virtually, we're excited to be back face-to-face. Our next general membership meeting with a breakfast is on September 1st at the Italian American Cultural Society in Clinton Township. Finally, I am very excited to announce that as of 10 a.m. today, registration for our 30th annual golf outing is officially open. Visit gpbr.com/golf to sign up and learn about sponsorship opportunities. We look forward to holding this event after a year off. Thank you, Events Committee, for all your hard work in planning and all that you guys do. And now, the moment that everybody has been waiting for. Let's give out some prizes. All right, Bob, take it away.
Thank you, Chris. I want to remind you that the meeting will be adjourned after the drawings, but that we will keep the Zoom open until 10:30 for those who want to do some networking. Julie, are we ready? Let's spin the wheel. Alicia, congratulations. Alicia is the winner of our $50 gift card from Flagstar Bank. Our next prize is a $25 gift card from Guaranteed Rate. Mary Rose. Next, from Grosse Pointe Moving and Storage, is a $50 Amazon gift card, and the winner is Christy. Next, from House Call Home Inspections is another $50 Amazon gift card, and the winner is Cindy. And finally, a pair of dinner tickets to our golf outing on September 13th. Franny, congratulations. Congratulations to all our winners. Thank you everyone for joining. Meeting again will remain open for some networking. For those of you who are curious about the Gpbr YP network, one of the breakout rooms will be hosted by Randy Brandt, who can share some information.